Okay, what's up guys? So I'm Edward Air. I grew my agency Boom Boom Creatives from 0 to 100K in 5 months last year in 2023. And we got to 400K in 10 months. And I have nothing to sell you, okay? I just do these videos to help you out and show you how to get to the same success that I achieved basically as a shortcut, right? Because I show you guys kind of mistakes I've made, the process we run, the systems we do, everything, so that you can do the same thing for your SMMA, which is a fucking mouthful of a term, right? Acronym, stupid one, but agency work, okay? Now this video is called How I Made 360K Plus by 21 years old. I started making when I turned 21, technically, okay? So this is going back to 2011, okay? If you know my story a little bit, basically I grew up in Vancouver, I did 2 years at Harvard, I left, I started different businesses, and then writing really took off, and I was into books for a decade, okay? So I was writing books on Amazon KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. I got in on the first wave in 2010, 2011. My books took off in 2011, and my first month making money online, I made $30,000, okay? Which was cool. This is for a kid who had no money growing up. We had a family of 5. My dad was making around 40K Canadian dollars in the most expensive city in the world, right? So obviously we had nothing. Now some of you guys watching this, you know, are probably, because I'm in Europe now, right? You're probably like in Romania or Bosnia or Serbia where you're even poorer, but it doesn't matter. Cost of living is way down there, right? Anyway, point is, I know what it's like growing up poor. But that's why I was so driven to make money. Okay, and this is always a story that I see. 2 things. People who grow up poor, people who actually make it and have the ability to go through the struggle and the process required to have great success in life, like real success, not like, oh, I got a promotion in my job, right? Like real fucking success. Always have some hardships that they overcame at the start, and their foundation, like their childhood foundation, was most likely similar to mine, right? I didn't grow up in like a bad spot, right? Loving family, all this. I had 2 brothers. We loved each other. We were great relationships. But money was always, like, I didn't feel like I was lacking anything in terms of money, but we just didn't have, like, my dad wasn't making much, right? So I always wanted to make money. And that's the drive. It starts young that actually pushes people to have success, okay? The other thing is, it's Harvard in 2 years that I said. The one common denominator of every smart person I've ever met is that they read a lot as a child, right? Read a lot of fucking books. And I read tons, and this was all fiction. This was not this like non-fiction how to run a business bullshit. It was like just stories. As a kid, because that's what's gonna interest you as a fucking kid, right? And it wasn't like Atlas Shrugged by Anne Rind, or however you say her fucking name as a 10-year-old. No. It was just stuff I liked. I really liked fantasy, right? So I was reading tons of fantasy. That's what really develops your thinking, critical thinking ability. So if you, fuck if I know, if you're watching this video, you're older than that, right? So you'll know if you've read or not. If you've read, chances are you're gonna be smart, okay? I was also gifted with a high base intellect that I was just born with, all right? Ta-da, that's my big advantage, okay? Okay, how I made 360K by 21? First month making money with books was I made $30,000, okay? And the rest of the year until I turned 22, I calculated on my computer, but I forgot to pull it up for this video because this doesn't really matter. It's just my backstory, right? But it was something like that. First month was 30K, and then next month was a little bit higher. Then 3 or 4 months down the line, it was like 45K, and then it dipped down to 20-ish, and it never went under 15, and it fluctuated in that 30-ish, 20 to 40K mark, okay, off books. So I was writing books. The first ones were shit, obviously. But they had a pretty cover and they had a nice description. They had good customer reviews because people actually liked them. And my first books, I copied fucking Twilight. You can look the books up. They're called Shattered by Sophia Sharp. That was my first pen name. Okay. Yeah, Shattered was the first book. And then I republished it as a different series just to get new life into them and get more sales. So if you probably won't find Shattered on Amazon, but you'll find it on Google image search, right? I made the covers. I did fucking everything, okay? But yeah, 360K I made by writing books. Now to go into that a little bit, let me see. I'm just trying to think what the interesting points would be, like pertinent points to you guys watching this video, why this would actually be of interest to you aside from knowing my story. Kind of it's like this. once I saw it worked, and I had a system to launch books that I could pretty much guarantee the success of the first book. And this worked from 2011 until 2018. And it was an organic discovery thing, right? And in 2018, Amazon got rid of the organic discovery, which is that it was the best thing ever for customers. It was this little bar on Amazon. Customers who bought this also bought. And it showed recommended products that come together through, thousands and thousands of data points of all their customers, millions of data points, right? So Amazon got rid of that in 2018 in lieu of paid ads. And those paid ads have no fucking relevance to anything else, which I thought was the stupidest decision on Amazon's part, because that was literally the best organic discovery tool to buy more stuff and get a customer to spend more on your store, right? Spend more on Amazon. When I was in Canada, up to 2018, I was always buying shit on Amazon, and I would add something in my cart, and then the first thing I would do when I'm checking out is go through that little bar, customers who bought this also bought, and just see what I missed, right? What else looks cool? What did I miss? And I would add more stuff, right? Great way if you're running an e-com store to increase the average order value and lifetime value of your customers. But Amazon got rid of that, and they put sponsored product ads there that have absolutely no fucking relevance to the product that's being sold. So that was, I think, a big mistake on their part. But I guess in their eyes, the ad revenue from advertisers makes up for the loss of sales in organic discovery. But I doubt it. But whatever, they have some other vision, right? But yeah, I put out my first book and it was 99 cents. So cheap, lowest barrier to entry ever. Then I wrote book 2, book 3, and book 4 of the same series. And those ones were $2.99. So on a 99-cent book on Amazon, you get 30% profits. And on $2.99 plus, you get 70% profits. So with that, because they want to encourage people to spend a little bit more. So on my 99-cent book, that was like the gateway drug to the series. I forget what the buy-through rate was. It's probably like 30% from book 1 to book 2, right? But book 2, book 3, and book 4 is where the money really came in. Book 1 peaked. I think I only had book 1 out that first 30K month. So it sold a lot, right? Like you do the math. If you make 30K off a 99-cent book and you're only getting 30%, how many copies did you sell? Right? Now, I made tons of fucking mistakes in writing, I'll tell you that for sure, okay? There were other authors who started at the same time as me, and they wrote absolute fucking garbage, and they just kept writing in the same genre, in the same series, and by the end, there's one in particular, what's her fucking name? She wrote some vampire series, Bella Forrest. Her writing is like 5th grade level, like a 5th grader is writing it, okay? Shade of Vampire by Bella Forrest. She actually copied my Shattered Sophia Sharp books in her first book. And she published the first book, I don't know, a couple years after. And I know it's a direct copy because they have like the same names and the same concepts and like the same like plot points, okay? She saw my success, copied it, then she did something really smart. She kept writing books in that same series, and she was writing for like 2018 or 2019. And she had like, I think 200 plus books in one series. So I was seeing this and like I knew back then when I was in books, how many sales, like whatever the rank is on Amazon, because I've been on every single rank pretty much, right? So I could tell how many sales you're getting. And she was making at peak $2 or $3 million a month off books, okay? And I was like, I missed that. I could have done that. Now, my problem was my first books by Sophia Sharp, they were bad. I knew they were bad, right? But they sold and people liked them and they had pretty covers, right? And good descriptions. But the writing quality was not where it could be, right? So this was my thing that like, I was like ego driven to prove myself I'm the best and actually do good stuff. I only put my face behind my books in 2014 after 4 years of writing, right? And it was Edward M. Knight, A Thirst for Vengeance fantasy book. Yeah, the big mistake with books that I made is not continuing in the same series, especially. Not even the same author, because I jumped around. I have like 6 or 7 or 8 different pen names. I don't remember. And I have 40 different books in different genres. If I just kept writing as Sophia Sharp in that same fucking first series, I would have had like multi-million-dollar months in 2016, 2017. But because I just didn't fucking know, and I didn't want to have association with Sophia Sharp because those first books were bad. So I didn't want to be associated with bad books, right? I want to write good books. The other people who didn't care and just kept writing the same series, they made tons of money, right? So that's a very important point to you, actually. I was before very, very much like, if you have to do, let's say you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to, up to 100% potential to run a business, okay? But you have to have all 5. For me, my past perspective was every single one had to be at 100% perfect before I could launch this thing. That's not how the world works. If you do like 20% in each one, right? And 20 times 5 is 100. So you put 100 total points across 5 things versus me having to put 500 total points before I'm ready to launch. Who do you think wins? It's the person putting 20 points behind each one, just farting out something out there, throwing it out there, and having people buy it and sell it and improve, okay? So that was a big, huge mistake by me, is I kept jumping around author names and pen names and books and genres even. So lesson for you guys is once you find something that works, and for example, my Boom Boom Creative offer works, you could copy it right now. I'm giving it to you on this channel. I've given it to you, right? If you want deeper in-depth, like one-on-one training with me, message me, we'll figure something out. There's a coaching program coming up. It'll be $15,000. That's everything. All the stuff we have given to you on a silver platter. Here you go, just run it. But once you have something that works, double down it and do more of it. That's the most important thing, okay? I failed to do that. In terms of books, another thing is just cool little tidbit for you guys. Readers are loyal to a series, not to an author. And I learned that with a different author name that I was writing dark romance under, and I had a big series that got me almost New York Times bestseller. I sold well enough to get there, but I didn't get there because of technicality, so whatever. But yeah, I wrote that series and I switched, then the series ended, and I wrote a different book and sales were like 10% of what the series was. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I realized readers are loyal to a series, not to an author, especially when you're a no-name, right? Yeah, I was making 30K. I had a $100,000 month in February 2016 of profit, and then 125,000 the month after off my books. Those are my biggest months in writing. But again, this is small compared to someone like Nora Roberts, who in 2011 was making $80 million a year writing romance, right? Why was she making $80 million a year? Because her books are in every single checkout aisle in every single grocery store in the world. Like I'm in Slovakia now, right? I've been in Bosnia, I've been in Serbia, I've been all over Europe. Like in these countries that like Serbia, Bosnia, who the fuck knows, right? No one knows about them. I'm checking out and they have Nora Roberts translated into Serbian on the checkout aisle. So everyone who's like waiting in line to check out can grab a couple books, right? Or whatever books they got there. It's always Nora Roberts and whatever something Steele and all this shit. So placement is super fucking important. So my numbers are tiny compared to big authors, right? I was not a big author at all, but we made decent money. But there were mistakes along the way. Anyway, so yeah, how I made 360K when I was 21 years old that year was I got on a good trend, which was books. My books had nice covers, they had good descriptions. I had a way of enhancing organic discovery. So when these books were recommended to people on Amazon, they bought it and then they bought through the rest of the books. Again, 30% I think bought from the first to second, which is actually a good read-through rate for a series. And past that, I just wrote more books in that series and then I tried to fucking jump around different author names, different genres, all this shit, which was the stupidest thing. I should have just stuck to Sophia Sharp and written that same fucking series forever. I would have had multi-million-dollar months in 2016. That's lesson learned, okay? But books now are it's a little bit different marketplace, but which is why I don't do it anymore. Yeah, that's me. That's my little writing journey. Cheers. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but that's it for now.